Hey, check it out. Of course, I start trying to fix the mic.
As soon as we go live. Are we live?
Yeah.
Everybody out there watching?
Yeah.
All right. This is our suicide pact video. No. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Go through and share it everywhere for us.
Yeah, it's our first live stream. I guess nobody's paying attention yet.
Welcome
so we can kind of say what we want at the moment. Let me tell you my views on liberals.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and start there.
No need to go balls deep immediately. No need for that.
Oh, man.
Play with a little first.
There it goes.
Give her that 2-inch wish stroke. You know, the one where she wishes it was more. Then give it more.
And then give it more.
Then you give it more, but not all of it. Just give it like another inch or so. Have her thinking that's all you got. And when she's got that look on her face where she's like, okay, I can work with it. We'll see what we can do with that. You know, then you hit her with another inch or two. You're like, oh my God, when does it stop?
Man, I was watching TikTok last night, and I got stuck on this e-dating show.
E-dating?
Yeah, they got e-dating on TikTok. Did you know about that?
No,
yeah,
you could date on TikTok now.
Yeah, bro. They got this dude.
God.
He creates like an e-dating show with this TikTok live. It's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. So last night, old girl was talking about don't even come up if you ain't got 8 inches plus. Shut me down right away.
I guess if I'm going on, TikTok to go on a TikTok dating show, essentially, I just go on and be upfront about everything too. Yeah, straight up. If you've ever had an episiotomy, you could just disconnect your feed right now. Just don't even bother with these questions. If I see that scar, we go through all this and I see that scar, I'm going to be real upset with you.
I'm going to be
real upset.
Oh, man.
I'm also very specific. I need a fishbowl to jizz in. If that's not there, deal's off.
Yeah, she
you might as well just throw all your shit on the table immediately.
She
said 8 or nothing. 8 or go home.
8 or nothing.
8 or go home.
She had 3 kids and wanted 6 more.
I'll give you 6 and some good finger maneuvering. Like I can do a lot with my hands. You know what I'm saying? Don't count the hands out.
Oh man, y'all, dude, TikTok be going off, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
That's so sexist. Like as a guy, I doubt you could go on that little broadcast, that show or whatever, and be like, if you don't have triple D titties, you can just fuck off.
They'd boot you right off.
They'd boot you immediately. Yeah, they'd be like, oh, you sexist piece of shit. You don't even need to be on here.
Yeah,
but you could be a woman and go on there and be like, if you don't have a fucking tube snake in your pants, go home. Go home.
Man,
and that's just fine.
Man, some of the stuff you see on TikTok, bro, it's ridiculous. But yeah, bro, I'll be stuck on there late at night. Sometimes I get scrolling or whatever. I'll come across that e-dating show, and man,
how long do you think
they be roasting?
How long do you think TikTok's gonna last?
They'll bring it back for good eventually.
So you think it's gonna go away again though? Because it's supposed to, right?
Yeah,
that shit just got temporarily postponed, supposedly.
Yeah,
it's just put off for like another, I think it was
30 days, 90 days.
90 days, I think. Yeah. So what's going to happen in 90 days? You think it's going to go away again? Because the point of that is that they're giving it time to be sold to an American firm or some shit. So, do you think any of that's going to happen?
It's hard to tell, but
90 days is a push for a company, bro. For a big ass business, to tell them that you got 90 days to sell all your shit, and it has to be to this certain type of people. I mean, that's pretty weird.
I don't know. It's hard, man.
Most other businesses wouldn't be able to do it. They'd be like, yeah, we'd be fucked.
Because we just pissed China off
hard.
Because we got Panama to withdraw from the whatever deal they had.
The embargo deal that they had going on.
Yeah, so we just pissed them off. Mm-hmm. So Well, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but
Probably about to fucking invade Panama. We'll see.
Don't know what's about to happen.
Nobody knows what's about to happen. Shit is in the air, bro. Shit,
But it's been what, almost 30 days now that Trump's been in presidency.
I guess that's about right.
About almost 30 days.
Something along those lines.
How you feeling?
Oh, I feel like I would be feeling if Kamala was president too. I don't feel like I'd be feeling much different. I haven't seen any positive impact of Donald Trump being in office yet, honestly, and I doubt I would see any positive impact in the first month of Harris's term either, or really anybody. I'm not even I'm not even putting them out. Anybody who we would be allowed to vote for these days. I can't see that shit changing anything.
I mean, you're probably not going to be surprised by my comments.
No, not really. I mean, you're a pretty, I don't know, do you consider yourself a Trump supporter?
I consider myself,
I can tell you that, yeah. I can tell you that most people who know you,
they say I'm a Trump
most
supporter.
people who know you and would hear your views would consider you a Trump supporter, whether you would or not. But I kind of fall into that category too. Most people hear what I have to say and say that I am a Trump supporter.
Yeah, but you have a little bit more of a leftist viewpoint than I do sometimes.
I am a nobody supporter. Yeah, I don't like anybody in politics. Everybody gave me a lot of shit throughout the whole election process because anybody who would talk shit about Donald Trump, I would kind of argue with it. And it wasn't the fact of arguing for Donald Trump. It was the fact of arguing that, like, even in the worst category of the lesser of two evils, like, they're both fucking evil.
But the man's done a lot of work. Like, the dude's put in a lot of executive orders, whether you agree with them or not. Like, this is the fastest that I've ever seen the American government move doing anything.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're moving as fast and as hard as possible to basically stop anything he fucking says. It seems like any one of these laws or acts that he signs in, it's immediately shot down by judiciary systems and shit like that. Has anything he has enacted actually come to pass, or have they like fought everything that he's done?
Bro, I think they're trying to impeach him now.
I mean, they are. Yeah, California's suing him.
That's crazy.
California, there's like 2 departments in California that are suing him over the immigration shit. And not the immigration shit, the birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
That shit. They're like suing him over that.
I mean,
so
look, man, I think
knows, bro?
I think if you're going to really try and fight everything that this administration does, I think if you're going to sit here and try and fight everything, that it's just going to be a long 4 years for everybody.
I think they, like, at least 1 or 2 of their representatives have come out and pretty much said the same fucking thing. That, like, you're in for 4 years of this, buckle up and deal with it, basically. Like, you hassling every decision this guy makes is just going to complicate everything.
I think you're really just going to have to pick and choose.
I feel like they probably said the same shit when Hitler started acting up too in Germany, right? They were probably like, look, he's ruling the place. It is what it is. Let the Jews out of your house.
He said they'll give us soup.
Yeah. He's going to feed you crackers. You're going to turn in the Jews. And everything's going to be fine. I don't know. That's of course kind of how every real liberal feels right now. They're like, this motherfucker is Hitler, and he's ushering in the Third Reich, and he's taking everybody's rights and shitting on them, except for white men.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. The last administration had me jealous because I didn't get shit.
You didn't get shit. But, I'll say this, like I said, I am a white man, and I have yet to benefit from anything fucking Trump has done either.
I wish they would have gave me $10,000 in the phone and some benefit food stamps or whatever. But no, I mean, I understand what you're saying with that viewpoint as well. But I think as far as like what he's doing, I think he's making a lot of changes really fast and doing things that we've never seen before, right? As far as a president, you know?
A lot of shit that we ourselves have never seen before. Not necessarily a lot of shit that has never been done before, but that's what everybody's saying is like he's using more of the presidential power than has really been. It's almost been like a gentleman's agreement over the past 50 or more years that like you're not going to do these certain things because they seem to be a little too monarchy.
Right.
You have these abilities, these are within your power, but it's almost a point of your stable that you have these abilities but you never use them. That's the point almost, is that you have this kingly power but you never make those choices. You make these democratic choices instead. That's supposed to be the point. And Trump is running with all this power that he's got. And people are freaking the fuck out. And they're like, it's illegal. He can't do this. He cannot do this. He can't do that. He can't do that. And then they fact check that shit and look in the Constitution. And they're like, oh, he can. He can do that. He can do this. He can do that. It's just presidents don't. They haven't. It's been an agreement that we're not going to rule that way. But Trump is like, fuck that. I've got this power. This is in the Constitution. I'm going to do these things. And I don't know. It's been a real hard back and forth on the immediate from it. It seems like even the supporters he has in power, you know, he's not getting his way the way people seem to think he is. Everything I've noticed, he's been fought on pretty hard.
I mean, we expected that to happen from the jump, though.
I expected some things to come, and
it's with every presidency, every administration. That's the thing of having, you know, two parties.
But I expected the other part of it too,
really,
because every presidency who's had that, you still are also doing some shit that isn't getting fought every step of the way. You're doing things that it obviously makes sense to everybody. Like, okay, yeah, this needs to happen. This gets passed, but it seems like so far everything Trump has said, everybody underneath him has been like, "Fuck that, we're not doing that shit."
I really feel like that this really got pushed from like we don't want Trump, we don't like Trump, the billionaire thing. Like, we don't want Elon. We don't want Elon. Then you got people up there talking about some.
Well, I've never wanted billionaires to run my fucking government.
Well, they're talking about we don't want Elon. Yeah, and calling Elon ignorant, calling him dumb, but at the same time, we're talking about the same man who revolutionized space travel.
I think it's funny
we're talking about the man who figured out how to shoot a rocket into space and then catch it.
Well, I think it's funny we can call Elon Musk stupid and people call him dumb and all these names and shit. Elon Musk has fucking Asperger's or something, doesn't he? Yeah. Like, he's mentally. Yeah. I don't even know what the politically correct term for it is these days. I don't know if it's mentally challenged.
I don't know. You want to Google it?
But I mean, he has a mental, what would be classified as a mental disability. Right. Truly. Right. And it's like any other human in the world, if you have that moniker beside your name, it's not cool to call you stupid. It's like not okay. It's not politically correct to call that person dumb and stupid.
AOC literally called my man ignorant.
I'm sure she did. She's not alone. Like, a lot of people say and that's just like kind of the public opinion too. The people who rant about him are like, this fucking moron, this asshole, this ignorant piece of shit. And it's like, this dude does have a mental disability. Like, I'm not giving him any slack either. I don't really like Elon Musk either because, like I just said, I don't like billionaires running my fucking country. I just don't. But I can't really at the same time call him stupid because I got a cousin who's got Asperger's and I can't call him stupid. Nice. And he's not. He's just like Elon Musk. He's like a genius in certain areas. And now in other areas, he's a little short. He's got some shortcomings. I think that's kind of the standard with pretty much anybody with any mental disability. You're probably really good at some things, and you're probably really bad at other things. And the things that you're really bad at are probably very simple to most quote-unquote normal people.
Here we go. We got a little minute clip right here.
Back to the Dems. This, you'd be very familiar with AOC. She is the Democrat senator, best known for the woman who would fail finger painting. She too has taken to her socials to let everyone know how much she disapproves of Elon Musk, but not for the usual reasons. She reckons he's just dumb.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed. Which, you know, you can probably even glean that from watching these people on TV. Anyways, all of that is to say is that they don't do their homework. Clearly, like, they're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury. This dude is not smart.
Okay, love him or hate him, but Elon Musk is not only the richest man in the world, but he is so because he
is not smart.
Yeah, I don't want to suck his dick and hear about him being rich or anything like that. Like,
he's not smart.
Like I said, that's something that's so not even in anybody's mindset. Why is nobody thinking like this guy's a mental disability and everybody's calling him fucking stupid?
How can you call the man who revolutionized space travel stupid? How? Bro, you're talking about the son. What's my man that owns Virgin Galactic? They've been trying to do it for years.
I know who you're talking about. Name Richard Branson.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
So, people who would argue with you, and I'm not. I have a love-hate relationship with Elon Musk.
Hold on a second. I'll push back on you on the billionaire thing. Because I would rather have billionaires running this country and handling the finances than the people who have been up there for 20 years who were poor when they went up there, but some now are worth over $1 million now. They're only worth over $1 million now because of the money that's getting funneled through them through programs like climate change and the USAID and stuff like that. These programs that are designed to funnel money to politicians so they vote towards corporations. Corporations and billionaires have been running this country already for a very long time behind the scenes as a bureaucracy. So now they're just doing it in front of you.
And that's a pretty popular opinion too right now, honestly, is that and from a nihilistic perspective, I've been saying shit like that for years anyway, that no real political system runs this country. Businesses run this country. Businesses are the real political system.
America is a business.
America is a business. We are set up as a business. Donald Trump said that in one of those interviews that he did before he was elected. He was like, this country is literally set up as a business, and we don't run it like one. Like, to have an entire country set up on a business foundation and then run it like a country is fucking us, and it doesn't make any sense. And we need to run it like a business. A lot of people agree with that. I don't know necessarily if I have the mental to be able to agree or argue with it. So I don't really have a stance on that. My thing is that I just think that if you work in the government, you should not be allowed to have but so much money. It's one of those positions that I think that is out there that is ridiculously overinflated in how much you're allowed to earn legally and behind the scenes through lobbyists, through backdoor deals, through backdoor stock arrangements, through all the shit you hear about constantly being happening with everybody in the political spectrum, for God's sake. It's like, if you have your foot in that government door, you can make money, whether you're getting paid it directly or whether, you take one of these 17 different avenues.
They have all these government agencies that watch us, everyday Americans, that watch everything we do all the time. But we don't have a government agency that watches them to make sure that they don't meddle with corporations to funnel money in their pockets so they can get some stuff passed. Like, bro, come on. These stuff like climate change and little stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, President Zelensky in Ukraine came out and said, I only got 77 billion of the 177 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd the other 100 billion go? You know what I'm saying? Like, why he's saying that now?
I mean, because it's probably true. Anytime we ever funnel money and weapons to another country that's in conflict, they don't get all the money and they don't get all the weapons. It's been a thing. Fuck, man. Since I was a child, I've been hearing about it since the Contra shit. Since the Reagan-Contra shit, at least, it's been a thing. And that's just when the American people found out that the government was doing that type of shit, that they were selling old inventory to third world countries and shit for money that was off the books. And that initially that started as a project between about 5 people, and that they were keeping all that money. And one of them was, Ronald Reagan. The other one was the vice president. The other one was Ollie North, who was head of defense at the time. And then there was a couple people under him. And they were all keeping that money, and nobody was talking about it. They either set the standard, and everything that's been happening since then has been kind of because of that, or they were just the first ones to get caught doing it. And still, it kind of set the standard after that, because then it set the standard of realizing how to not get caught doing it, how to be public about it and be open about it so that it wasn't illegal anymore, by going out and starting controversies every fucking where, and then helping the lower person, helping the underprivileged person by giving them money and weapons, or by selling it to them at very quote-unquote cheap cost. That's been a thing we've been doing, and that's literally what Donald Trump was referencing when he said that shit about America being a business. Like, America is a business. Whether you agree with that shit or not, it's true, because America is a fucking business. They just don't show you everything that they do. And I believe everybody in the government at this point, probably, if they don't have their hand in the fucking pie, at least knows about it, acknowledges it, and shuts the fuck up about it.
And turns the other way.
Turns the other way.
Don't say anything about it.
Don't talk about it. It's just going to ruin your life if you bring it up. If you want to bring it up and be the outsider and start talking about that shit, it's just going to ruin your political spectrum.
That's the thing. I don't care if you are running the U.S. government or if you're running a lemonade stand. If you run it at a negative deficit for so long, what's eventually going to happen?
Yeah, collapse. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to need big balls in there to go in there and clean up federal spending.
Need them big balls.
Yeah.
Need that 19-year-old with the fucking mop head haircut, whose name is Big Balls, to come in and clean that shit up. I believe the last we saw about that little bit of controversy, they rehired that guy, but now Elon is getting basically, I don't know if sued is the right word, but like they're taking him to court over trying to basically allow that kid into the Department of the Treasury. Because that was the point. He was going to go into the Treasury Department and then do something, and now everybody's saying that that's like treason, basically. He's letting somebody who's not a government official basically try to get into the Treasury Department, which has access to everybody's social security numbers, has access to everybody's financial information. And they're looking at it like literally a treasonous kind of thing. So that's pretty wild. He's supposed to be like in front of a court next week over that shit. So I'm kind of curious to see how that shit plays out. It'd be crazy to think that like this dude's going to go to jail already because of some shit that he, tried to do or whatever. I'm pretty curious to see how it pans out. Elon. He's the one going, not the 19-year-old, him. They're putting him in front of a grand jury next week.
They're not going to do Elon like that.
You don't think?
No.
I don't know anymore. The predictability of what is coming and what is happening in this country and with this administration is fucking just out the window.
Bro,
it's gone for me, man.
It's been like that since 2001.
It's kind of been like that since then, yeah, pretty much. But I mean, it seems to be farther out there now than maybe ever before. Because I will say there was a predictability with Biden.
Yeah,
I was able to pretty much see from point A to point B from 4-year gap to know exactly how that was going to go.
That was a perfectly well-written script.
And there's been other presidents before than the same way. Obama was the same way. I knew Obama was going to get 2 terms the moment he showed up for his first debate. Like, I was like, not only is that guy the president, but he's going to be the president twice.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that
He's getting elected back-to-back.
I knew it. Yeah. I mean, and I have no real genuine political knowledge. I don't. There's just something... I feel like most presidents aren't even voted on based on political knowledge because most voters are kind of stupid. They're voted on for their charisma. They're voted on for their
popularity and how much they can relate.
For their ability to talk, for their ability to relate to the common person.
Without making it a mockery.
Barack came out, dude, right there when he first showed up on the scene. God damn, it was like he related to everybody. Everybody he went around was like, you're cool. Like, we get you.
Yeah.
We get you. And he was like, and I get you. I understand. I understand what you're going through. I understand how to fix it. I understand what you want.
He's a slick talker.
He knew everything to say when he first popped up. And even after that first term, he had a lot of people out there who were like, well, I don't trust him anymore. I don't really like what he did the first 4 years. But
he still had a popularity vote.
The choices are him and this other Republican who nobody likes.
God, what was his name?
I can't even remember now who he went up against on his second term. But nobody liked him. Nobody. He was not a popular individual.
No, yeah, I do remember that.
And
part.
I feel like Barack won that second term simply because people were like, we just like you better. Like, even if we don't like the shit you're doing to an extent, we just like you better than we'd like that dickhead.
And continue to 4 years.
And get you 4 more years.
But
maybe next time will be better.
Barack was literally, I'll put some respect on his name, my apologies, former President Obama. Yeah, former President Obama.
I did say that shit like we were neighbors for 12 years. Yeah. I don't want to get banned from YouTube for
calling But he talked like that, though. Like, when he got up there and he talked like you, like, he was talking to you personally, like he knew you.
That was how he acted. Like, y'all were old boys. Like, y'all grew up in the same town. He knew your struggle. Yeah. You should know his. Like, all that shit.
So I don't think it's disrespectful when you kind of acknowledge him like that, because that's kind of the persona he put off.
That is what he put out, was that I'm the people's president. Yes.
Yeah. So, but former President Obama was actually like the last real leader the Democrats had.
There's so much back and forth about Barack too at this point, about Obama, because like so many people think he was like in the deep state kind of shit and responsible for so many things.
Oh yeah, because that's when you had the Hillary Clinton Benghazi stuff, the Hillary Clinton emails.
I'll go out on a limb and say I think Barack Obama might have more like conspiracy theory level shit involved in his name than maybe any other fucking president, for real.
Oh yeah, but it's not acknowledged at all. Nobody really talks about how he's probably the most conspiracy theorist
president. Not in a
mainstream
spectrum. No, not at all.
He does have a lot of
push that in. Yeah. Get a little loose on you.
That's good now.
I guess. Touch it. Yeah. Benefits of the live stream. You can see this happening.
But he was the last real leader that the Democrats had. I don't see any other future leaders at this point. Like, that would be a good run for president.
Not with who are out there who you know about. No, not really. I can say the same for the fucking Republican Party too. But no, like nobody I see out there.
J.D. Vance is really kind of lining himself up to kind of run for presidency next.
Fuck that guy. I wouldn't want to vote for him. See, that's the thing with me, though.
He hasn't really said anything I disagree with, though.
But see, that's what I'm getting at, is like I can talk about the popular vote, and I could talk about people's opinion on that shit. That doesn't mean I feel that way. And like, I never gave a fuck about Barack Obama. I really didn't. I really didn't. I was like, he's gonna win, A, because he's black, and B, because he is saying exactly what a lot of people want to hear, and we'll see how it goes in 4 years. And by the time that 4 years went by, I was like, just seeing what they put against him, I was like, oh yeah, he's got that shit in the bag. He's going to take another 4 years easily. Even though he has detractors at this point. He has people out there who are like, we don't fucking like this guy. But that, once again, they were like, we don't like that guy, way worse. So we're going to vote for Obama again. I think it's to that point where I keep hearing people tell me shit like the lesser of two evils. And I swear to God, if that's your choices when it comes to voting for the people running your country, is the lesser of two evils, when do you stop? When do you stop participating?
I don't know, but what do you really think of Doge? Because I did bring this up a few minutes ago, but you kind of got sidetracked. Yeah, the Doge counter. Do you really believe this? Have you seen this? This is a.
I haven't seen it today. I've seen it before.
You seen?
So we got 511 days till the July 4th, 2026. I guess that's the deadline. Taxpayers' dollars saved, $36 billion. Savings per taxpayer, $245. Progress to goal is 1.8%. Total initiatives 48. Like, those are all good numbers, I guess, but like, what is that even in reference to? Is that trying to tell us that they have saved money?
How much money they've saved?
They've
so far?
saved $37 billion in taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
In not doing what? Or in firing a bunch of people and shit?
By cutting down government waste.
Well, I know he got rid of the Board of Education.
What do you think about that?
It's pretty wild. I don't know what's going to come of that. It's pretty much going to force states to make their own boards of education.
How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's going to help education.
Why?
Because all it's going to do is allow whatever state to enforce their own beliefs upon their own children there. So the Bible Belt is going to be very heavy in Christian teaching. The West Coast is going to be very heavy in teaching, anti-white type shit. It's just going to be very varied from state to state as far as what people are taught. And it might even seem like a good idea at first, but once these kids are grown the fuck up, a generation later, and everybody starts intermingling the way that humans do, you're going to see how, like, truly fucked up everybody is. Because, these people think that Jesus made the dinosaurs' fucking bones go in the ground just to make you disbelieve things. Like, these people over here think that you're part of the problem running the country because you're a white man. Yeah. And, shit like that. Like, you're going to have all these really weird alternating viewpoints.
But you already have that already.
You do. You do, a lot of it. But it seems right now to be, this is kind of fucked up, but if you think about it, it's kind of true. It seems right now that a lot of that type of thing is segregated. It is put in its own place. It is left where it is. For instance, most people who think that God put dinosaur bones in the ground to test humans live in a 4-state area around Kansas. Like, it's just a fucking fact. Once again, most people who kind of think that white men are the problem with the fucking planet and that every white man is a problem, most of them live on the West Coast and the East Coast. But the coast.
I was going to say Northeast.
The coast, period. Yeah.
I was going to say Northeast.
Northeast, that's what I'm thinking when I said East Coast, was Northeast. But, like, it's the coastal areas.
Northeast and West.
It's like your coastal areas seem to be a lot more liberal than your central area of the country. The problem is that the central area is bigger, but with a less population. The coastal area is technically smaller, but with a ginormous population.
But you don't think that kind of nature would kind of do its thing over course and kind of even out the two?
Not sure. It hasn't so far. It's, like I said, it's very skewed as far as population goes right now. I mean, you drive through the fucking Midwest, and you really got to think to yourself, like, why do we have homeless people anywhere? Like, why is anybody fighting for a fucking yard spot in Sarasota? Here's 10 billion acres of land right here.
Well, most of that
completely undeveloped. Nobody lives in it. And,
it's most of it's farm. Midwest is farm stuff.
You'd be surprised. You drive through there's a lot less farmland than you would think. Most of it is just empty.
But
there's no infrastructure out there. There's barely power lines running from point A to point B.
What has having the Board of Education done since it's been created?
I couldn't tell you anything.
What has it done?
I don't know. I'm sure it's done some things for education, and I'm sure it's fucked over some things in education. I'm not sure what it's done. I'm not classified to know those things.
Oh, let's go Google it then.
I also don't trust Google anymore. I think that's a big problem. Everybody trusts fucking Google and Wikipedia. Like, we've absolutely proven how Wikipedia is full of shit on pretty much any account it wants to be. They can say whatever they want. Wikipedia is ran by normal people. You know what I'm saying? Who write what the fuck they want to write on that shit. I don't trust any of it, honestly. If I'm looking for an obvious definition to a question, sure, I'll check it out. But if I'm looking for something like educate me on this specifically that I know nothing about, no. No, thank you. What are you doing, son? Got my dog Alfred over here doing his inner lap thing. He likes to shoot up and put his head up through the hole when I cross my leg like that. And look at me like, what are you doing? Why aren't you feeding me?
All right. There we go. Most people probably don't even realize that.
What? I didn't see it. Is that when it was put into place? 1980?
May 4th,
It
1980.
began operating on May 4th, 1980, having been created after the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare was split into the Department of Education and then the Department of Health, Education, or Department of Education Organization Act. Okay, so basically Jimmy Carter signed that into law in 79, and the Department of Education was formed shortly thereafter. It's administered by the Secretary, obviously. 4,400 employees, the smallest staff of the cabinet agencies, and a 2024 budget of $238 billion. The 2023 budget was $274, which included funding for children with disabilities. Pandemic recovery or the childhood education, work assistance, among many other programs. Budget was down from $637 billion in 2022. Jesus Christ. How much was it at its highest, I'd like to know.
Well, that was 3 years ago.
Okay, so there's your purpose and function. Unlike the systems of many other countries, education in the U.S. is organized
Into
at
the
a
mic, please.
substantial level by each of the 50 states. Under the 10th Amendment, the federal government and Department of Education are not involved in determining curricula or educational standards or establishing schools or colleges. The Department of Defense Education Activity oversees schools located on American military bases, and the Department of the Interior's Bureau of Indian Education supports tribally controlled schools. The quality of higher education institutions and their degrees are maintained through an informal private process known as accreditation, over which the Department of Education has no direct public jurisdictional control. So the department identifies 4 key functions: establishing policies on federal financial aid for education and distributing, as well as monitoring these funds, collecting data on America's schools and disseminating research, focusing national attention on key issues in education and makes recommendations for education reform, and prohibiting discrimination and ensuring equal access to education. So let's think about that for 1 second. So the entire purpose of the Department of Education was to establish the policies involving financial aid to different schools, and probably why and all that shit.
Right. So just hold on right there. That's when standardized testing started coming out.
Yeah. That's when the OWL test began, I think.
And that's how they started figuring out which schools got funding or whatnot because of these standardized
tests. The better
tests.
you did on those standardized tests, the more funding your school got.
I believe that was under the Bush administration.
More than anything, yes, mostly.
I believe standardized testing.
It was under the Reagan administration too. We were just too young for that shit.
Well,
you might not have been born.
Yeah, it was way
that was
before my
before your time. But I was born, but I was too young for that shit.
But I remember standardized testing really got pushed under the Bush administration.
Yes.
And that's when they really started talking about funding. And I think that kind of continued throughout the Obama administration as well. Standards of learning test and funding.
Barbara Bush, like her whole push was in the education system, because the first lady before her, Nancy Reagan, her whole push was just getting kids to read. making kids read. Every first lady is supposed to have like a special project,
Right.
a function that they go
Right.
into. Pretty much damn near since Jackie Kennedy, almost all of them did something involving education.
Yeah.
Almost all of them, up to Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama did
Michelle Obama,
the food plate, the food pyramid.
Yeah, she tried to supposedly better the food pyramid for fucking kids. That's really been heavily argued, and I don't know if I believe that was beneficial either. But some people think it helped. I don't know. I didn't have a kid in school at the time who I could judge that off of. So if you had a kid in school,
Dang, man.
and you think that I don't know, they're
Break the equipment.
if you had a kid in school and you think their meals and stuff like that were better or healthier during the Obama administration than they were at any given point in time, I'd be interested to hear that.
I think that was,
I just don't know.
I think that was about the time I was getting kicked out of school. I think they were like kicking me out.
See, by the time Obama was president, I was very much out of school and I didn't have a kid, so I would not know.
It was
honestly.
2012, so right at the end of his first term, going into his second term, was about that time where like
Right.
I was getting kicked out of school and they were like telling me not to come back, and I
Right.
didn't want to go back.
So you didn't
kinda
give a shit
deal.
about the menu then anyway?
No,
Yeah,
no.
I got you.
I think 2013 is actually when I got my my GED.
Okay.
My GED's been helping me ever since.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the stupid thing and just graduated high school like a dumbass.
No, I dropped out. And
Let me
started
tell you,
working.
that's really helped me over the years.
Bro, I remember the time when they really looked down on you if you had a GED.
Yeah, when I tried to apply to be a bag boy at a grocery store, that was a big deal. Pretty much every position after that didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care if I was taught by anybody. I could have been raised by wolves, and they wouldn't have given a fuck. Most of them barely asked if you even went to college. If you went to college, some places are curious about what you went to college for and shit like that. Even those jobs don't give a fuck about the pre-college shit. They didn't even ask.
No.
It's just a given, basically, that like your ass either went to school or you got a GED. Because at this point in the game, you pretty much, I don't know, would fall over dead without either one. Is how they act. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, I like strove very hard to finish high school. It was not easy for me, for that sole purpose of knowing that that was going to help me in life. You know, just to finish school was going to be more beneficial for me than going to get a GED or just quitting. So I was going to do that. And I did it. I'm proud of myself for it. But boy, it didn't help a fucking thing.
So it says the department's origin goes back to 1867 when President Andrew Johnson signed legislation for a Department of Education.
Yeah, to be clear, the Department of Education has been around for fucking ever.
Forever.
It was just literally called just the Department of Education in 1980. It was already part of a government program anyway. Like, the federal government has been involved in public education for fucking 200 years.
Well, yeah.
Like, so it didn't really start in 1980. That's just when it became its own organization.
And yeah. Pretty much gave it its own oversight.
So it is pretty wild to think that Trump might have, ended an organization that has roots going back 150 years, 160 years.
Well, did he just end? See, and this is how I kind of view it, right? Like when they called it Department of Education in 1980, I feel like they kind of gave it its own oversight. You know what I mean? They were like,
They did. That's what we
do
were
what you
reading.
want to do.
Yeah,
right?
you're responsible for this shit. Yeah.
So now I feel like him doing what he did takes back that oversight, and it's like we're going to oversee what kind of rules you're making.
But he hasn't said that though, and he hasn't done that. That I could see him. I could see what you're saying if he already had his own basically Department of Education that he had ready to stand in, and take that position over. But he just got rid of that shit, bro. He just axed it. He said that's not the federal government's responsibility. Is what he said.
I would really like to see them step in and say it needs to be more technology based. We need to have more technology-based learning.
Yeah, obviously.
There needs to be more hands-on.
Technology is the future.
We need to be teaching kids about taxes.
Yeah. Of course, but we're not going to. Not in a public education system.
Some type of computer development, software development, some type of hands-on building thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to be more technology based than what it is.
The thing about technology based curriculum, and I'm a good example of this, honestly. So when I was going to high school, it was an elective, but it was one of those electives that pretty much they were pushing on everybody to take programming, to take computer programming. It taught you how to build websites. It taught you how to code, essentially.
I don't think I made it that far.
It was the first elective, and then after that you had C++. C+ is a computer building program tool. Then you had C++, which is a much more advanced. It's that C++ is pretty much how everything is built on computers and shit. So if you master C++, you can do anything on a computer. You can turn it into anything. You can build websites. You can do all kinds of cool shit. Because the point was, that was the future. That was what was coming. By the time I was 18 and 20 years old, now it was for about 15 to 20 years.
Is it not the future still?
No.
How is programming and digital?
Because we have AI now, Frank, and that does it way better than humans do. That's the argument against AI is that it kills all the coding.
We'll get into that later.
But I mean, that's it.
But it's still a vital learning piece. If not, then that replaces it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not viable in the means of it being a career anymore, and that's how it was always put. No, it's not. You can't get a job as a coder. They fired every coder in Silicon Valley.
Bro.
They have AI now, and it's that AI is worth 1 billion coders, bro. It does it instantly.
The last administration killed it.
Killed what?
Coding. They killed all that stuff. They killed the advancement of technology. Bro, what you're about to see in this administration is a big leap in advancement of technology. The world that we know now is going to be completely different in 4 years in the way that we deal with technology and the way that we interact with technology. The leap is going to be tremendous.
I don't disagree with that at all, but I'm saying the human element is still getting removed because of that. And that's what happened with coders. Nobody needs a fucking coder anymore, bro.
I still think you need coders in order to do the back end work on it, right? Like you could use it AI, just real quick, we'll go into this. You could use AI to build the code, but you're still going to have to know what the AI is putting in that code. You're going to have to, and yes, you could get the AI to back check and to back check itself and double check itself, but it's be a lot safer for somebody who knows how to code and read it to be able to know, like, okay, this is safe. You know what I mean?
But that's not what they're doing.
I know that's not what they're doing.
That's why we get dumbass AI at first and shit, because we're literally teaching the AI with the AI.
If that's the case, then we need to be teaching kids in school right now how to use AI.
I think that's just happening anyway. I'll be real. If your kid has access to a phone, that shit's happening.
You think kids are out there playing with AI before they play video games?
I have a child upstairs right now who is playing a video game created by AI on her phone with her sister at the same time.
Playing with AI is not the same thing as learning how to use AI, right?
No,
and this is what's wrong with the internet is we all consume the internet.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how to actually productively use the internet. Nobody ever taught us how to be productive.
You got to learn that shit on your own.
How to use the internet productively.
And
Nobody ever taught us that. They don't teach you that in school.
No.
So that's what I'm saying is they got to teach.
They just blocked the porn sites. That's all they did in school. They just put a block on the porn sites and a block on what was the shit we used to watch all the time where people get fucked up on those. Like whatever site that was where people constantly getting hurt and fucked up, like they just blocked all that. They didn't really tell you, you need to go to this website and learn how to do this. You need to go to this website and learn about this. You don't,
They never taught anybody how to use the internet. We only consume the internet, and that's the problem that we got to correct with AI now, right? Is we got to learn how to use AI and not how to consume AI, right? And that's what they're doing right now. Like, if you don't know how to use AI in a productive manner, you're going to get left behind in a society in the future, right? Because you're just going to get stuck consuming AI and not knowing how to use it.
Right. Potentially, yeah. I agree with that for the most part.
I mean, that's just what it is. So we should be teaching kids how to use this kind of stuff productively.
I personally don't have an abject sense of permanence anymore in the world when it comes to really any fucking thing, and especially with technology, because technology is actively created to be changed and bettered over the future impact of itself. It's and with AI, it's literally getting to the point to where it's making itself better. It almost doesn't need us anymore. It's getting close to that level. But the point is that any kind of preparation toward learning feels like not a back step, I guess, and maybe not a useless step. I'm not trying to say that, but it's a step that seems like it's going to be made obsolete a lot faster than anybody would have projected it being obsolete. Kind of in the same way being a coder was. When that was pushed on me as a young man, that was not just the immediate future. You understand? That was the projected future for fucking ever. The thought of AI ever being a real thing in the early 2000s, that shit was sci-fi, bro. Nobody ever would have thought that shit was going to be real.
It wasn't real to your everyday American, but
even back then, somebody had it in their basement.
In the early 2000s, it was already being worked on.
Yeah, dude had made it, and it was already in his basement, and it was already fucking learning.
It was already.
And we were all like, that's a conspiracy theory. That's science fiction. We'll never see that. 10 fucking years later, it's available. 10 years after that, it's 1,000 times better than it was 10 years ago. So I feel like, once again, the thought of any kind of permanency whatsoever towards adapting and learning toward something special.
And there goes the dog.
Yeah. What's up, man?
And just for the people watching, we just had a visitor walk in.
There's an old man blowing snot rockets in your creek outside.
Ooh. You just told me there was an old man blowing snot rockets in the creek outside. I believe it. Guy with long hair?
He had a hat on.
Oh. I don't know, man. The traffic through these woods next to my house is really stupid. It's much heavier than you would ever anticipate.
You wanna like actually fix your mic while you're just out to break our equipment today? I mean, there you go.
Is that better for you?
It's a little bit better for me.
Okay.
I mean, you might want to adjust it, pull it out. Do what you gotta do.
I mean,
make sure you speak into it.
You could pause this shit too. We could do it again in a minute. It's fine. I don't think anybody's particularly watching, to be honest.
We got a couple people watching.
Do we have a count somehow?
I can see it right here on the phone. It's 3, 2, 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
3 of you out there?
Yeah,
you sexy bitches.
Shout out to everybody watching.
Shout out to all you guys who give a damn. That's cool. We're probably going to take a break for a minute. I got dogs. I got a sick kid upstairs. We're going to come back here pretty shortly, though, and maybe have a few more viewers. We might even have somebody else on with us. We'll see.
Might have another take.
We always like different takes here. Join us.